All right, welcome all creatures. It's your host, Social Media GM. Once again, I appreciate you being here because you don't have to be here. So let's get into it. But before I start, I just wanted to kind of do a little like intro thing in each of my videos where you just kind of get to know me a little bit. Like I just talk about what's happening right now with me in the day. So basically, as you can see, because even yesterday I talked about how I didn't have an edge up, my hair and stuff like that. So same thing today. Hair, no edge up. But I'm about to go out with my wife. We're about to go downtown to this event basically. It's a little event where it's like a museum block party. It's basically called FOMO block party. So we just gonna go out and hang out a little bit. And yeah, so that's why I got this on. Mind you, that's why I wanted to talk to because I don't even usually wear do rags. But like I said, no, my hair is messed up. Just had to throw something together. But let's get into it though. I'm gonna try to have fun with that, but let's have fun with this value big board, right? So my big board that I'm going with today, which is the subject, I'm just gonna tell you about how I rank the draft prospects in my own way. So some people, anybody that's new to this with a big board, people rank the draft prospects in a specific way. They usually rank them from like best to worst. Me personally, I don't really want to do that in my in my channel. I want to have a value big board. So the difference is one, I'm just going off the value of the player. So you'll see what I'm talking about. The first thing we're going to start off with is blue chip players, like who I think are blue chip players. And in those categories, they're not really going to be ranked. So if you see one person over the other, as long as they're in the same category, I just put them as blue chip players. So that's how I'm doing it. Granted, I put prototype, as you can see on the screen. It's this is going to be a prototype. So I'm gonna edit this. Like I said, this is my first time doing it. Of course, I'm a new streamer. Appreciate y'all. Like I said, appreciate y'all even coming here. So this is a prototype in general. I might move some people. Plus, any interactions from anybody watching the channel. You might see somebody on my list and you might be like, "Oh, you're way too low on him. You might want to watch him again," or "You're way too high on him," or something like that. I'm gonna edit my draft board until the draft comes. The draft is Today is April 15th. The draft in 8 days. Yeah. So I'm gonna edit it because I'm gonna do a couple more mock drafts. I did one already. Go check that video out. And I'm doing this uh value big board so my next draft can make more sense and we can relate more as to how you think or how I see people. So, let's get into it. Like I said, I'm starting off with blue chip players and then we'll go from there. So starting off with my blue chip players, right? Here we go. You see me, man. I'm trying to get organized with the stuff. We got Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs, Vega. His name is like Vega Ioane or something like that. Sorry for pronouncing your name wrong, man. I hope you see this video. But Jeremiah Love and Kenyon Sadiq. These are my blue chip players. Oh, let me scroll over a little bit too so you could. I put Hall of Fame, but blue chip, Hall of Fame, I just put some type of title. Like I said, prototype. This is a prototype. And, anybody that's watching this, like I said, give me feedback. Let me know how you feel. Even if it's something of a title, like you could say, instead of value big board, how about you put this or you put that? Or instead of the Hall of Fame, let's not put Hall of Fame, let's put this. Any ideas you got, let me know. I'm open. So let's get into it. Like I said, these are my blue chip players. Um, like I said, I wouldn't say this is in order, but I will let you know as a heads up. Sonny Styles is my favorite prospect in the draft. I just think he's gonna like the linebacker position is very underrated, and I think he's gonna bring light back into that position, and people are gonna see how valuable it is. Granted, I see the reasoning as to why people or GMs don't want to draft him first round because that fifth year on that contract gonna be a lot of money compared to what linebackers are getting paid. But like I said, my favorite prospect, Caleb Downs. Um, and when I have blue chip players, they're to me they're generational in a sense. Like Sonny Styles, he's gonna be generational for linebackers. Caleb Downs, I don't got to spend too much time on him. He's gonna be generational for safeties. Vega, he's the best guard in the draft, and he's one of the most consistent. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he didn't allow a sack in 2 seasons or something of the nature. But Vega, best guard in the draft. Jeremiah Love, we already know he's a generational running back. Some people have their, you know, their thoughts on him. I even had my thoughts in the beginning for some reason. I don't know why, but just now thinking about, sorry, excuse me, just thinking about it more and more about his play style and today's NFL, and he is a tough player, even though he's got injured sometimes. That comes with the game, especially being a running back. But he has every making of a Hall of Fame running back. He has the speed. He has play strength. His strength might not be the, like, we're not looking at Marshawn Lynch or something like that. His strength might not be up to that par, but he has the speed, he has the strength, he has the elusiveness. He could work on a few things, of course, but in every prospect could work on a few things. And then we got Kenyon Sadiq. On top of the production, his athleticism just jumps off the chart. And I know they compare him to certain people. Some people compare him to Antonio Gates or like Vernon Davis. He's in that mold. He's in that mold, and it's very possible. So, and just by the way, in future videos, I could get more in the description of the prospects. I just kind of want to do a quick summary of the prospects, and then I kind of want to highlight some other things. Because when you see my board, you're probably gonna be like, "Why is this player here?" So I'm gonna highlight certain players to give you an example as to why somebody might be there. You'll see why. Because just because somebody is in a particular spot does not mean they're sorry, or does not mean they're that great or something. But obviously, blue chip, you get what I mean by here. These are, and mind you, oh, also, there's something else I want to do with my value big board. I'm holding myself accountable. Like I said, if I'm saying they're a blue chip player, if they're not really, really good, especially throughout their career, let me know. I'm cool with it. But and mind you, I'm taking chances, and there are some people that, like I said, you might not agree with, the consensus might not agree with. This is my big board, so I don't want to be a copy and paste type of person who just agrees with everybody else. I'm not high on some players. You're gonna see some other people. Stay tuned. It's coming up though. But here we go. This is the fringe blue chips, and I put fringe on purpose. That's why I put the blue like that. Fringe. So we got Dylan Thieneman, Jermon McCoy, Jordan Tyson, Arvell Reese. These are fringe. So when it comes to the fringe players, right? The reason I'm saying fringe is because like they're right there to me. Like they're close. Dylan Thieneman, he has a production, and he's actually a lot more athletic than I thought in general. And he was one of my favorite prospects in general, especially when he was valued in the second round. They had him second round at one point, but now he's jumping to first round specifically. But sometimes you can see him top 20 and things like that, top 15. So I just put fringe just because if he was a second rounder, I think he would beat the value of his second round for sure. But now since they have him in top 20, there's more at stake, or there's more um, chips in his corner. So he has to meet those standards. So we'll see. But like I said, I have him fringe. Jermon McCoy, another reason. Uh, another reason. I ain't mean to say another reason. I mean to say another player. But the only why he's not in the blue chip is because he came off an injury. But if we just go off his 24 tape, he's lock up. This is, and mind you, he has the speed, he has the size, he has the cover ability. He's lock up. But it's just that injury, so I don't know. We'll see. And Jordan Tyson, same thing. Just the injuries making him inconsistent. And I don't mean inconsistent in his play. I just mean inconsistent in terms of being durable. So if Jordan Tyson was healthy, he would be blue chip as well. Because I like his game, and the characteristics of Jordan Tyson is what make him blue chip. He can run routes. Like, he might not be the best route runner that we've seen in a draft, but I just mean in general. He's a great route runner. He's great in a contested catch. He's great after the catch. He does the things that makes a good wide receiver good. He does them in a great way. And mind you, he also can take over. I'm just saying that as a category, but he also can take over. He had games where he's having over 100 yards. He had a span of 6 games where he had over 100 yards and a touchdown each game, or something like that. So in like 6 games, he had like 700 yards and 6 touchdowns or something. So that's a wide receiver you could rely on. And mind you, he even tried to play through injury at one point, but maybe it wasn't the best thing to do because he didn't heal up properly. But it just shows his toughness and his tenacity. And then Arvell Reese, the reason he's fringe as well is because I'm, like I said, this value big board, I'm going off a bunch of things. I'm going off where they're like what area they're getting drafted. Like, are we looking at this person as the number one pick? Are we looking at this person as the fifth round pick? That's going into factor. Of course, their play and how and things like that, how they play and stuff. That's the main factor. But I'm also looking at how teams will possibly use that player as well. So with him, that's his main thing is how will they use him. Me, I would have him as a blue chip if they use him properly. If I think putting him at linebacker and having him play downhill a lot, rushing the passer, and just playing downhill. And mind you, he can cover. He's not the greatest, but he can cover. If he plays more downhill, I would love it. But I don't know if they're gonna play him as an edge, and he's unrefined as an edge. I'm not a fan of the edge, especially when you're trying to get him top three, and then you put him at edge. And that's not to say he can't be an edge. I just think, off of my value big board, if he was a linebacker, he'd be good. So that's what we have for blue chips and fringe blue chips. Let me know how y'all feel about that as well. And like I said, if I'm tripping, if y'all like, oh nah, you tripping right there. Oh, sorry. I didn't even see on my screen. You couldn't see Arvell Reese. But that was Arvell Reese's name. Um, I'm gonna go down. I just didn't want to show the next person. That's why I didn't go down yet. But that's on me. Like I said, new YouTuber. I'm still getting used to stuff. But the next category, I put all pros. So all pros is just basically, um, no, sorry, I didn't put all pros. I put stars. All pros was the fringe because if they're not gonna be a Hall of Fame or a blue chip, I believe they're gonna be like all pros or having those type of category, being in that type of category. Now the next one is stars. Stars could just be just making a Pro Bowl multiple times, 3 or 4 times, and in a span or something like that. I believe these players are gonna be stars, and there's gonna be more stars because for me, I wanted to be more specific with the blue chips and the fringe blue chips. I didn't want to have 10 players in the blue chip, then 20 players here, then 20 players here. I do got a lot of players, but it gets more with less expectations. When I got more expectations, you're gonna see less people. So you might see some drafts in the future. Hopefully, I stay. Hopefully, we build a fan base where y'all here in the future. I might only have 2 Hall of Famers or something like that. But these are more stars. And here we go. Let's see. So I got Zion Young. I got let me actually zoom this out a little bit. Zion Young, Fernando Mendoza, Carnell Tate, Makai Lemon. Once again, this is no order. I don't think Zion Young is going to be better than Makai Lemon or something like that. Just have them in the same category. Let's stay right here because I have more players, but let's stay right here. So, because like I said, I'm not going to spend all day on every player, but I will touch on them. Zion Young, he has a size, he has the skills, and mind you, they have him going maybe first round. That's maybe. He's going second round. I'm higher on Zion Young than other edges, sorry. And as you can see just from my list, he's over some edges that you may like, you may not like. But I see him as a star in general. He can pass rush, he can defend the run. Like I said, he has the prototypical size. I think one of his drawbacks was some off-field issues. I'm not really going to get into the off-field issues. That's if I ever bring up off-field issues, one, if I say anything, it must be confirmed and it's already out there. Like let's say Rasheed Rice, right? Like something like that. Like it's already out there and it's oblivious. I mean, it's oblivious. Hmm? Ignore me. So with him, it's like off field issues where they might be confirmed, they might not be. I'm not really gonna get into it, but that's mainly his flaw in general. I mean, he got some other ones. Sometimes they talk about his motor a little bit, but he's gonna be like I said, he has the traits to be a star in general. Especially second round pick, that's way too good of a value if you ask me. Fernando Mendoza, not much to say about him. I just don't see him as like a Hall of Famer or a blue chip player, but I can see a star. His resume proves it, and it does depend on fit, and obviously we see him going to the Raiders as a NFL fans, we see him as going to the Raiders, so his fit looked like it will be really good there. So I definitely see star. Carnell Tate, he has the makings of a blue chip player, like the size, the speed, he can route run. It's just that he doesn't really put it together necessarily. Like there's times where he's putting it together. There's times where he goes ghost. But I do like one thing. Like I said, the size and the speed and the route running leads to a lot of deep ball touchdowns or just deep ball catches in general. He really specializes in that. And also, I hope my background isn't flickering or something. I feel like I see something. Make sure. It's like when I'm. Oh, it might be when I move my desk. All right. Sorry if it was flickering. I do apologize. And Makai Lemon. Just to keep it short. Amon Ra type of vibe, real tough player, and I feel like to some degree he's underrated, and then to some degree they put him at his right spot because like a lot of these wide receivers could kind of just since he's so small, that's the only why people don't really see him as like a one in a sense. And I get it because I don't really like small wide receivers as well. But he's really tough. He's durable. He knows how to play. He's smart. Like he's a smart player. And like I said, the toughness really brings a edge out because that yards after catch with the toughness is yards after catch and contested catches. You can see the toughness just even in highlights. If you just see highlights, but obviously watch the games, y'all. I wouldn't just go off highlights. Next player is Peter Woods. Let me just reveal a couple of them. So we got Peter Woods, Kalen Rutledge, Chris Bell, Christian Miller, Chris Johnson, and Anthony Hill Jr. All right, so with these players, like I said, these are stars to me. Peter Woods, he would have been a fringe blue chip, or he would have been a blue chip himself if he didn't show inconsistency. So that's why he's a star. Not much to talk about with him. Kalen Rutledge, I like him a lot. This is after uh, Vega. After Vega, he's my second guard, I believe. I would have to I would have to look at my notes in general, but I think he's my second guard. He has the toughness, he has the athleticism, and he does have great production as well. I think people sleep on him. They look at him as a later second round, early third. I think that's great value, and I think he can end up. You get him for a second round or third, and he end up having multiple Pro Bowls. I you won right there for me. Chris Bell. Chris Bell got injured. That's the only reason. I mean, he might still be a star even if he didn't get injured. I don't know. I would have to see his play. He would have to do a lot more for me to put him as a fringe blue chip, but he's definitely a star. I just hope that injury doesn't set him back in general. Christian Miller, I feel like he's underrated in general. And the only reason I don't just categorize him as underrated is because he's going in the second round. So like he can't be too underrated, but I think he's really good. Like um he this is a hot take. This is a hot take. Don't stamp me on this one. Like I said, I'm gonna shoot some stuff out there, but if I say stamp me, that's different. But don't stamp me here. He might be my first defensive tackle off the board. Uh it just I'm when it comes to like because Peter Woods is more undersized in a sense. I'm more of a prototype size drafter. That's I try not to look too much in the size, but we have to at the end of the day. And I feel like Christian Miller wasn't really getting used to his full extent, if you ask me. So he has a lot more to show in the pass rushing game. So I think he's a complete player, and he, playing for Georgia, he's played competition for sure. Chris Johnson, somebody that I think people sleeping on. He has the speed, he has the IQ. Um, he knows how to play the game just in general. And mind you, the I don't look too much into the combine. I try not to, but sometimes the combine can tell me things. But like he has the play speed in game. And then just seeing a combine where he was able to run a 4.4 because I thought he was going to run a lot higher, maybe a 4.5 or 4.55. It's like he showed that I can keep up with the speediest of wide receivers, but I also know how to play. I just like the way he plays. You got to go watch him if you haven't. Anthony Hill Jr. With him, he's a little of a project, but I just kind of look at it like the right people that's gonna draft him, he will be a star. His potential is through the roof. Like he really is nice. He's not up there with Sonny Styles in terms of a player, because especially because Sonny Styles proved it with the productivity. But Anthony Hill is nice, man. Like as a Texans fan, I would want him because I feel like D'Amico is gonna get the best out of him, and you get the best out of him, that's a star. All right, so let's keep going. So we got T.J. Parker, Jake Golday, Emmanuel McNeil Warren, Jalen Farmer, and with these players, right? Starting with T.J. Parker. Like I said, I said this in my other video. Y'all can go check that out. But I'm pretty high on um as edges. I'm higher on Zion Young and TJ Parker than some other edges. TJ Parker, once again, prototypical size, and he's really good in the run game. Where he lacks is the pass rush, but I don't really look at pass rush. Me personally, I don't look at pass rush as all be all. Like, yes, a lot of defensive ends make their money off the pass rush, but I look at what else can you do? Like, can you do other things? Like pass rush, yes, is good, but that's only like playmaking to me. That gives me like playmaking and just pressure. If you can't if you can't play make, then it's like say in a game they're blocking you pretty good and you can't play make. You're doing nothing else is my point. So and mind you, some defensive ends they get more praise because of the playmaking. Like when they get a couple sacks in one game and it looked like they stopped them on a third and long and they helped win the game, that's what they get paid for. I look at everything. Like as a Texans fan, Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter, they're great pass rushers. But look what else they do. They defend in the run. They're smart players. They know when to move or know how to move. They can read a good they can read a defense. They know how to contain properly. It's things to it where just rushing and going forward and then hoping you get them or not, just like a 50-50 chance. Some people run past them, some people don't. I don't highlight that too much. But anyways, TJ Parker has the makings of a really good edge. And on top of that, that's another reason I like him and Peter Woods is because if you look at Clemson stats, um, they have the shortest time for quarterbacks holding the ball. So that means they had the shortest time to rush the quarterback. So if you look at it like that, starting off with last year, Peter Woods and TJ Parker were monsters last year. So now this year they have some inconsistency. So if you look at it like in that retrospect, yes, they should have still did more, but also the teams respected them. They knew to get the ball out faster. So, and mind you, they're not the only ones on that defense in general, but I'm just saying they had to get the ball out faster. So I feel like that kind of hurt their stats as well on top of the inconsistency. Jake Golday, um, one of my favorite linebackers in general. He's a smart player, more downhill, but he has the length and he's not the most athletic, but he has enough athleticism with the length and size to cover really good. Like he can. Obviously, you gotta help him out with that overall, but having him play downhill and just being able to cover, I'm telling you, he's one of my favorite linebackers in general. Just like I said, if you can teach him just some fundamentals of covering, because his athleticism and length will make up for his shortcomings. You got you, especially him going in the third, fourth round or something like that. Some people say second sometimes, but third, fourth round, that's a gem right there. And I can see Pro Bowls out of him. Mayo McNeil Warren, he's just an athletic specimen. You get safeties like that just athletic specimens out of nowhere. I don't. It's not too much to say about him, but um, yeah, it's kind of like Nick Emenwari in a sense, but I like Nick Emenwari better as a prospect. But that's basically what I got to say about him in general. He's just an athletic specimen who can make plays. He can force fumbles. He can blitz. He could cover. He actually make plays. Like he's an ultimate safety. He just has to work on his rhythm and patience. Like sometimes he could be a little too jumpy and sometimes he could, get caught on some fakes, but that's easy stuff that, you know, any coach can help with, especially if you put them in a mindset of like, yo, you're athletic and you know how to play. Just be patient sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to shorten it as much as possible without going too far with players, but because we got a lot more to talk about in general. Um, Jalen Farmer, he's a really good guard. I know he didn't produce as that great, but I just look at it as he's going. If somebody reaches for him, the highest is third, but he's going like fourth round, maybe fifth round. He's athletic, extremely athletic, and he has the arm length. He no, not even has the arm length. He has great, excellent arm length. I just feel like you put that together, the athleticism, the arm length, him going in the fifth round, you have like And mind you, he knows how to play in general. Like I said, his productivity wasn't the best, but also he did go to Kentucky. To me, it really wasn't the best development. So I feel like you get the right person to develop him. It's I see a star. My next one is Mike Washington Jr. I should have just showed him anyways because he's the last star. But size, speed, he has IQ, he has the cutting abilities. Not cutting abilities. I don't want to emphasize his cutting abilities. It's not like Bijan. I try to say outliers, but it's not like Bijan or something like that. But he's able to do a one cut. I feel like with his size and speed, a one cut is enough. And mind you, he reminds me of Derrick Henry, but not exactly. Like he's smaller than Derrick Henry, just a little bit, or they could be close in size, but he's smaller than Derrick Henry. Um, his one cut, depending on things, might be better than Derrick Henry's, and he could catch the ball better. So I feel like on the ground, Derrick Henry is a better runner, like just straightforward. He's a better runner, and he might be a little stronger, maybe like because I know for Mike Washington to be so big, he's not the strongest back, but with today's NFL as well, where they need backs that can catch the ball more and just make home run plays, he's this modern day and age Derrick Henry to a degree. And I'm cool with it, especially late second, early third. They not really looking at him as a first round. So and that Arkansas team really wasn't that good for him to even still play pretty good. To me, he played pretty good. They weren't that good. So next, after the stars, I have and like I said, any of these players, man, let me know what y'all think. Let me know whether you think the person's terrible, whether you think I'm too low on them, high, whatever. But next, we have the good players. So I just think they're gonna be good. I can't tell you like when I say good, I'm just trying to put my words in proper places. But when I say good, just like they can have Pro Bowls, they can, but I just think they're gonna be good starters, like just players that really do contribute. They really do. And like I said, just because I put them as good, they could be way better. And mind you, because you're gonna see a lot of names where you're like, what? You think he's just good? Yes, I do, because there's some flaws to him that y'all looking at him too high. But I'm not gonna sit here and say he's terrible, because like, for example, let me just give you the first example. Avion Terrell, right? They got him going. He can go as high as the 12th pick to like the Cowboys. That's what I see. And mind you, even with these players, when I talk about them, please let me know what y'all seeing. Like, are you seeing Avion Terrell going to the 12th pick? Are you like, no, the things I've seen, he's only been third round, whatever it is. So let me know what you're seeing. Excuse me, sorry, y'all. So Avion Terrell, I just think, I guess when I look at good, like yes, he's good, but he might not be as good as you think in a sense. So like I don't see him going 12th pick. Can it happen? Yeah, I might do some mock drafts where he do go 12th pick. It can happen. But I just see him as a good player. So like if you take him in the first round, you take him in the second round, whatever it is, I think it's a good pick regardless because he's gonna be good. Everybody doesn't have to be an all-star or everybody doesn't have to be this blue chip just because you picked them at yada yada spot. As long as they're good, because there's a lot of bust out there. So I think he's gonna be good. That's an example. So you're gonna see the other people. So I got Jacob Rodriguez, D'Angelo Pons, Emmanuel Pregnon, Akeem Mazador, Josiah Trotter, David Bailey. So Jacob Rodriguez, he's one of the players with the most IQ in the draft in general. He just doesn't have the athleticism, but his IQ and his play makes up for it, and he makes plays. Like I said, I can't really envision him being a blue chip, but he's gonna be good. D'Angelo Pons kind of the same thing. His size is what hurts him. It really does hurt him, but he has the play, he has the speed. He doesn't have the strength really, but he's a cornerback at the end of the day, and they look at him in the second round. But like I said, good. So like if you draft somebody that, let's say a blue chip player in the first round, I'm just making up something, and then you draft D'Angelo Pons in the second, I think it's a good draft. Like it's a good pick because as long as you draft good players, that's all that matters. Everybody doesn't have to be a blue chip. Emmanuel Pregnon, a lot of people like him. He could even go in the first. I could see him going in the first. But like I said, I wouldn't be mad at these players if you pick them in the first. Some of them I would actually like. D'Angelo Pons and Josiah Trotter. I would be mad somebody picked them in the first. But like I said, I think they're going to be good players. So regardless, you're going to get value out of them. Emmanuel Pregnon, I just think he's a little older, and he's not really athletic as a guard to really have versatility. Granted, can he develop into versatility? Yes, but I just think just because he's older and he's not that athletic, he's more of just a bigger power type of guard. I just see him as good. Akeem Mesidor. It's mainly because he's older. He's really good. His run, I think his run defense could be a little better if you ask me. Pass rush is great. He's ready to play now, especially if you talk about the pass rush. But just him being older, I could just only see him as a good player. Josiah Trotter, I just think it runs in the family. That's why I got him as good because it's just gonna run in the family. Do I think he was crazy productive or anything? Not really. But getting him in the third, fourth round in the family tree and just developing him because I think he is young, he's gonna be a good player. Let's keep going. My fault. Let me just make sure I got stuff in order. So I had two more players in the good area. David Bailey, like I said, he's a good player, but I don't think he's as good as y'all think he is. Like y'all have him number 2 pick and stuff like that. So I just think he's a good player. Um, he's gonna be productive as a pass rusher. That's what I could mainly say is just being productive as a pass rusher. I don't know. I don't think he's that good in the run, but as a pass rusher, he'll be productive. Gabe Yakis, actually, I think that's how you actually say it. Gabe Yakis. Um, Big defensive end. I think he was like 260, 270. Good in the run game. He had a lot of tackle for losses, and also he's a good pass rusher. I think he had double digits for both stats. They got him highest could be second, but I'd be seeing third. Me personally, that's a good player in general. Like you're gonna get production out of him, and I don't think he's that old. All right. So my next category is underrated players, and let's get started with the underrated players. I'm just gonna show all of them. I just had to make sure I get it right. All right. So my underrated players. We got Danny Dennis Sutton, Le'Veon Moss, Jacoby Lane, Oscar Delp, Drew Aller, Michael Trigg, Jalen Kilgore. And mind you, some of these people, like how you got D'Angelo Pons up top, they might, some people names might have a hyphenation or it might do certain things or whatever. I know Jacoby Lane and Le'Veon Moss, their names, has that. But like I said, prototype, I was just making this so I could get a video out. I'm trying to stay consistent for y'all, man. I'm trying to be in this YouTube space. And I just have the ideas and stuff. It's just my editing skills and stuff like that is not the best. So I'm doing the best I can. But with these players, Danny Dennis Sutton, I know he wasn't that productive, but he has the size and athleticism. Athleticism for sure. And I think he's a smart player. Like even though his productivity wasn't there, I think he's a smart player to where, like I said, some people might reach in the second round, which is fine because I think he's underrated. But getting him closer to the third and you develop him properly, like that's another player I would love to see for the Texans where he's behind Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter with that athleticism. And mind you, he already has a great spin as well, and that's something that Danielle Hunter uses a lot. I I could see him being either good or having a couple Pro Bowls. Le'Veon Moss, I think people sleep on him. He's going like fifth round, yeah, around fifth round, sixth round. He could go higher, fourth, but if you just watch his tape, just the way he runs, like he's not a catching back. That's the only thing that I don't like really is that he's not a catching back. But when it comes to his run game, if you just watch his tape, he's one of the best runners in this draft. And his negatives to me, he's not the biggest size, which to me is not it's fine because he breaks a lot of tackles. He has the vision, he has the cuts, and he breaks tackles for size to not matter that much. Mind you, he's not small either though. So that's the thing. He's just like a good size. But if he didn't get injured, I think he had a couple injuries, and like I said, if he was a better catching back, which I believe some teams could use and develop that, but I think he would go a lot higher because his running game is just like he has a stiff arm, he has the cuts, he has the patience, He has some strength to break tackles. It's like he's just not uberly athletic. Is the thing. Jacoby Lane. I'm not too sure why people are so low on him. I get I get some separation issues, I guess. So I wouldn't pick him like in the first round, but I do think for his catch radius, and there has been multiple people that have had separation issues. It just depends on how you use them. Like if I'm getting him in the third round, I'm happy. Mind you, he's young, and like I said, the catch radius, separation issues is a big issue, but I just think you can overlook it with certain players and just the way they play. And I think he's one of those players where you can overlook it by the way he plays. Oscar Delp, I think he's an underrated tight end. He could block, he could catch, he could run routes. I just think he was undervalued with Georgia. A lot of the players in Georgia to me were misused or underused. And if I'm not mistaken, if I'm not mistaken, I think he backed up Brock Bowers when he was there for like his first year. So he wasn't able to show anything his first year, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, I just think he can do it all, but just wasn't used properly to be able to tell exactly. Drew Aller, I kind of just threw him in there just because of his potential. It's more of his potential, and I just say underrated because if you're picking him in the sixth or seventh round, I'll give him a shot because before this year and before the injury, they was having him in the first round. So that's the main reason I got him. Michael Trigg, mind you, I'm gonna do more research on Drew Aller, but I do like what I see. I just don't like certain things. But like I said, you get him in the fifth round, put him behind Matthew Stafford. What's the negative? Is my point. I don't see too many negatives of that. But Michael Trigg, um, big tight end with a big catch radius, and for some reason he's not really on like a lot of people's like big boards in terms of like top five tight ends. I don't really see that. Mind you, he probably has the biggest catch radius out of all tight ends. He's not the fastest or anything, but tight ends don't really need to be fast, and his route running to me is actually pretty good. I think if I'm not mistaken, because I'm talking about a lot of players, so I just kind of forget some tendencies a little bit, but he might not be the best blocker. I think that's another reason that they're low on him. But hey, man, you make him a good or above average blocker in a sense, or just good enough, his offense gonna make up for it. And then Jalen Kilgore, first of all, the name is cool, but I just like him as a player in general. Like he has versatility, he has toughness, and a lot of South Carolina people just be athletic. They just be athletic in general. He's not uber athletic, but I just see him going in like what the fourth or fifth round as well, and it's like, yeah, he's not a Caleb. I look at Jalen Kilgore in the safety position because that's what he mainly played. They be switching him. He's tweening sometimes, but if you're going for Caleb Downs or like Dylan Thieneman and Emmanuel McNeil Warren in the first round, and you get him in the fourth round, I think that's good value. That's why I put him as underrated. He's not up there with them. He's not up there with them, but I just still think he's underrated. All right. Now, since we talked about underrated, now we're about to talk about overrated. And you're going to probably be shocked by some of these players. And mind you, like I said, I'm kind of skimming through things. It's kind of like brief, but if you want me to talk about it in more in depth in the future, like if you like, oh, this player, why you feel like this or why you feel like that, I can do that. Um, so let's just get into it. Overrated players, and I think I'm gonna show all of them first. Yeah, I'm gonna just show all of them, and I know it's like what? Yep, Monroe Freeling, Ruben Bain Jr., Mansour Delane, Ty Simpson, Lee Hunter, Jadarian Price, Caden Proctor, Chase Basantes, and Caden McDonald. Now I know people that's watching this, it's gonna be a lot of mixed reviews in general. Like some people gonna be like, I feel you on this player, but not this player, or nah, you tripping, or this, and that. Like I said, we all gonna have our differences in general, a lot of times. So Monroe Freeling, I like him as like, and mind you, when I say, oh, my camera doing that. Sorry, y'all. If my camera keeps losing focus, let me just stay still. But yeah, Monroe Freeling. The reason that I'm saying that I like him as a prospect, he's a pretty good prospect, but it's just the fact that he didn't even do anything. Like when the season ended, he didn't do anything really, and they had him in the third round. Now all of a sudden he's top five, damn near. Me personally, that just doesn't make sense. Like, why did he just automatically just go to top five without doing anything? Now, maybe late first, uh, second round to me definitely, but I just think we're too high on him. And for him to play left tackle, he has the athleticism to do it. He has the length and stuff, but his play strength is the thing that I'm worried about. And yeah, he can stick with people, but when somebody just bull rushing you, let's just say what's his name, Jared Verse. If somebody just bull rushing you all game and you can't do nothing about it, I mean, all that technical stuff don't matter when somebody's just too strong. So that's the main reason. Ruben Bain Jr. mainly the short arms for the most part, and on top of the short arms, he's not really athletic. Now, is he strong? Yes, but there's gonna be a lot of strong people out there as well. But it's mainly the short arms and not athletic. He was productive, but I just feel like having him go top five to me is crazy. Like maybe top 15, top 20 ish, maybe. But and then people try to compare him like, oh, he got short arms. Y'all too worried about the short arms. Aiden Hutchinson has short arms. Aiden Hutchinson was also bigger in general, height wise. I think weight wise, or they might be the same weight, but height wise and arm length. His arm length was still longer than his. I think Aiden Hutchinson was like 32 and a half or something of the nature. He's like 30 and a half. So to me, it just doesn't make sense to like really go for him. And sorry, Aiden Hutchinson was way more athletic. He was way more athletic. So that's the big difference to me. Mansour Delane, I know he's everybody's number one cornerback, but for the fact for people to still compare Jamal McCoy to Mansour Delane, and apparently Mansour Delane had this wonderful season, and they're still comparing Jamal McCoy. That speaks volume to Jamal McCoy, but then it also speaks volume to Mansour Delane. To me, he didn't do enough to be better than him. That's one, and I don't mean to compare the players, but I'm just giving you a reason as to why I just don't think he's cornerback one. Like if I'm just trying to think of it. Like if I have a they look at him in the top 10. If I have a top 10 pick, my pick shouldn't really be relatively close in terms of skill to the top 25 pick. Cause like I think Mansour Delane, he's not even if you think he's better, I don't think he's too far from Avion Terrell. I don't think he's too far from Chris Johnson. I don't I mean, I'm leaving Jamal McCoy out right now, but I don't think he's too far from those players. For him to go from top 10 and the other players can be picked possibly in the second round, I think is a little overrated. And mind you, he's not the most athletic, which is fine. You don't got to be that athletic, especially when you play smart. And his arm length isn't the best. So it causes him to draw a lot of flags in general because, he's not trying to get beat and also his arm length. So I'm just not a fan of it. It's kind of I don't want to say exactly. It's not exactly because he had a way better season than this person I'm about to say. But it gives me like kind of like Terrion Arnold kind of vibes, like somebody that was smart and could play, but he got a lot of flags. But Mansour DeBlane played a lot better. Ty Simpson, I just keep it short. If a team picks him in the first round, I just think it's overrated. He's older, inconsistent. Of course, he can play consistent, but I just think first round talent. I just look at it like he got to be a star or something. Lee Hunter, people look at him like he's a really really tough interior I can give you he is tough. I can give you tough, but he's unathletic. Um he's not really a nose tackle necessarily. Like yeah, he's unathletic, but he's gonna contain the space. He's not really that either. And on top of that, that Texas defense was pretty loaded in terms of defensive players. Jacob Rodriguez, Romeo Heights, I believe, if I'm getting mistaken. Um, what's the other guy named the Edge? Because we just talked David Bailey. They got a cornerback too. Am I tripping? Is it Brandon? No, 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 no. They got a lot of players in general. Some of them are going like fourth round, fifth round, like some of the corners and safeties, and they're good. So my point is, I think there's another defensive tackle if I'm not mistaken, but with all the attention around him, he just wasn't good enough to me. And then on top of that, he's just not athletic. And I'm not picking him in a late first, early second. I'm not doing that. Jadarian Price. Me personally, I get that he played behind um, Jeremiah Love, and I understand that he does have some breakout capabilities, like he's able to break out for some plays. I just don't see it. I don't see the star potential. I don't see this RB2, especially when you're saying he could possibly go in the first round to the Seahawks or he could be early second. I just don't see it. I'd rather get a Mike Washington Jr. I'd rather it's a couple people. I'll take a chance on a couple other people that's later in the fourth rounds and stuff like that, rather than using a first round or a early second on him. I just don't see the what he stands out in necessarily. Granted, y'all can tell me what you think he stands out in, but I just don't see it. So skipping past him, Caden Proctor, um, I kind of want to just like not have him on here, but just the fact that they have him going to the Browns sometimes, excuse me, y'all. But the fact that he's going to the Browns sometimes is the iffy part to me. Um, that's too high for and when he's still like a project and he gets beat too easily on speed rushers. Chase Bazanthas, I think his arm length is too short. Yeah, he's tough and feisty and he has a motor, but production wasn't that good to be looked at as an early second, almost first. And honestly, this could be a little biased too. I'm just a Texans fan, Texas A&M with Kenyon Green. I'm not one of the people that try to tag people to other people like that, but I just we fell for it before. Caden McDonald is the next person. He didn't show up, but Caden McDonald, for him to go in the first round to me, I feel like you got to do more. He's an excellent run stuffer, and it's like that's it to me. Like that's all I really see. And it's like I'm not me personally. I'm not drafting a run stuffer first round unless he has potential to pass rush as well. Like he really has potential, but I don't really see it. And he's not really athletic. Obviously, he's a nose tackle, so he doesn't have to be athletic. But my point is, you just have to create more pressure in the middle for me to look at you as a first rounder. And last but not least, on my list, I put it as mystery box. But these are players where they're just it could be boom or bust. And I put mystery box because, like I said, I could go on that mystery box and get a terrible gun, or I could get a ray gun. So here goes the list for y'all, man, so y'all can see who I'm talking about. And y'all might agree with some of them, anyways. There's only a couple of them. So I got Caleb Banks, Max Ahinachor, Taylor Green, Nicholas Singleton, and Chris Braswell. So Caleb Banks, if he didn't get injured and he was able to still just play throughout the seasons, I promise you he'd be a first rounder. And I would hope he would have went to the Texans. I still kind of hope he'd go to the Texans, but I hope it's like one of our I think we got like 3 second rounds. I hope it's one of those picks just to take a chance on him. I would take a chance, but he's a behemoth that can move. He has the arm length, he has the size, and the fact that he can move. And like I said, this is a nose tackle who can create pressure up the middle. That's another thing. He might not be a better run stopper than Caden McDonald, but it's just the fact of everything that you combine together that gives him that potential. But that foot injury is what's setting him back. And the fact that it got reagitated puts him on a questionable list because what if he comes in the league, especially with his size and his movement skills, and he keeps injuring his foot? Max Ahinachor, a lot of people love him. I'm not the biggest fan of him because he's still a raw prospect, but they got him going as high as the first. I get it because he's learned the game pretty fast, just only playing in college and he's still young, but that's too risky for me, especially in the first round. Now, if they were still talking about him in the third or fourth, okay, I can see that, but they're talking about a prized possession now at this point. Taylor Green he just broke combine records. He's just too athletic to ignore. And like I said, you get him in the fifth round. What is hurting you? You can either get a fifth round dud or you could get an athletic freak. And let's just say, for example, to me, he could be like a Jalen Hurts, just a athletic runner who can throw the ball a little bit. And that's not to disrespect Jalen Hurts, but he's not the best thrower, is my point. So and that's me summing it up. I could detail it more, but Nicholas Singleton, athleticism. That's the main thing that I'm getting at, just athleticism. The productivity wasn't there, and I don't know if the vision is there, but athleticism and catching a ball. If you can get him to be competent, the sky's the limit. And I think he's young too. And then Chris Brazzell to end the series. Chris Brazzell, he's like 6'4" and fast. He runs like a 4.3, deep ball threat. But it's just the fact that he put it together this year. The year before, he wasn't really putting it together, but that could be a statement to the team as well. And then also, he's not really the best route runner, but mind you, you don't have to be the best route runner when you're 6'4" and you have speed. And then on top of that, his hands aren't the best. He improved this year for sure. But for him to be 6'4", I would love to see his hands be a lot better. Now, if he improves on those aspects, which aren't hard to improve on, because some of those he don't need to, like route running. If he could just improve a little bit more, he doesn't need to, but that would make him more elite. His catching would be the main thing, definitely to improve on, because if he could catch even better, he'd be a steal. But also his play strength might help a little bit in terms of all of this. And yeah, I mean, you could get a gem. I see him second round, third round, but it's a mystery box because it can go the other way. He could just be a tall good for nothing if you just want to shorten it. But that's all I got for y'all. I appreciate everything. Like, comment, subscribe, especially subscribe, man. Let's start getting the subscribers up, man, so we can build this, build this community. Because I really want to build this with y'all and just figure things out as we go, because like I said, I'm not perfect. So just trying to figure out things as we go. And the community would definitely help this page. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe, share, let your friends know. And anybody that's staying for the word, like I said, I'm always going to do a word. I didn't fully prepare because I was about to leave. Like I said, I'm going to a block party. It's an outside event where it's like you go to a museum. They just playing music outside, and I think they got food trucks. But I'm going to give you a word before I leave. I don't have my Bible on me right now, but I do appreciate anybody that did stay and is staying for this word. And yeah, I'm just gonna go with the Bible verse of the day. So it's let me get it out for y'all as well. I'm gonna just do the Bible verse of the day. It's gonna be a quick word. Mark 13, Mark chapter 13, verse 33. So this one, dare say a little bit different. Excellent. Yeah, I'm gonna just go here and just read. So here we go. Be on guard. Be alert. You do not know when that time will come. So basically, just something simple. You don't know when the time will come. Mainly referring to the end times. And I don't mean to get too dark at the end of my thing, but at the end of the day, there will be an end time. Not to scare anybody, but it is what it is. It's life. It's not something we can control, but that's why it says be on guard, be alert. But the thing is, when it says be on guard, be alert, no matter how alert or on guard you are, you won't know the time. So that's why it says you do not know when that time will come, because you won't know. But be alert, be on guard is more like just being sober minded. And that's something else that's said in the Bible a lot. Just being sober minded. So just for example, just always reading the Bible and just keep your mind towards God as much as possible. Granted, we're all gonna be surprised when that time comes, or we might not be here when that time comes, quote unquote. But it's just about being on guard, because the people that take this for granted or misuse their life in a sense, or you know just disregards it, they're gonna be the most shocked. So that's all I got for you, man. I appreciate everything y'all do, and just thank you for your time.